Well, one of the guys who's got to figure out how to put all the pieces together is Energy Secretary under Trump. Well, he did anyway. Dan Brouillette joins me now. So, Dan, we've seen oil and gas prices come way down. That's a good thing. But could we see a spike in energy costs as the demand for energy grows in these spectacular ways?
Well, David, thanks for having me today. I do think you're going to see some spikes in certain parts of the country. It's just unavoidable at this point. The country has underinvested in some respects in our infrastructure and our grid in particular. We haven't built enough generation in the near term to satisfy this oncoming demand that we see. We've had a number of retirements of electricity generation facilities across the country. We have to slow down those retirements, and we have to start building new baseload power. So in the near term, there will be some scarcity in the marketplace, and that, of course, is going to drive prices up. On the long term, however, I do think that we have a once in a generation opportunity here, given the amount of hyperscalers that are coming into the market and who are willing to contribute and be a part of the building of this new grid. As was pointed out in Michigan, they are willing to participate, and I think we need to take them up on that offer.
Well, as you heard from Madison, OpenAI is calling for an additional 100 gigawatts of power every year to keep up with the demands. Where specifically would that energy come from? That's a lot of energy.
It is a lot of energy. There's no question about that. And that's a good number. 100 gigawatts sounds about right. I've seen other studies that suggest 85 is sort of the minimum number, 85 gigawatts. We're currently building nowhere near that. We're probably somewhere closer to 50 to 65 gigawatts. So we really do have to step up the pace. But what it's going to take, David, is a focus on baseload energy. So bringing back some of our nuclear facilities here in the United States, restarting some of those that have closed, extending the life of some of our natural gas facilities across the country. All of those things are important for us to do.
How about these data center specific places for energy projects? That is, you have one energy problem, maybe a small nuclear energy plant just for one particular data center.
I think that's completely possible. We've talked in the past about small modular reactors, some of the advanced nuclear reactors that we're starting to see come on market. And I think given the amount of demand that we've just discussed, the commercialization of those technologies is going to be sped up some. We've talked about these advanced reactors in terms of decades, 10 and 20 years. I would suggest that we may see some of these coming online as soon as 5 to 8 years, perhaps. And that's an important step forward for our ability to generate power here in the United States. As we all know, nuclear power is incredibly dense, dense. It can power literally an entire city with just a handful of ounces of uranium. So we need to take advantage of this today.
And the safety issues, quickly?
The safety issues, I think, go away with the technology. The newer advanced reactors that are coming on are what's known as walk-away safe, meaning if you lose the cooling, for instance, to the reactor, because of the new cooling systems that have been developed, you have no radioactive release whatsoever.
And finally, we're in kind of this energy race with China, and they have been winning. In 2024, they had over 429 new gigawatts. That's the gigawatts, I guess is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm old school, but exactly. Gigawatts is such a huge number. To have 429 new gigawatts is extraordinary. We only, to put it in perspective, you mentioned 50 to 80. I heard 51, but nowhere near what the Chinese are doing. Can we make up that distance?
Yes, we can if we're willing to take a look at some of the permitting processes here in the United States and look at some of the regulatory structures that we have put in place. These are self-inflicted wounds, if you will. We've stopped the development of energy here in America. No one else did it to us. We did it to ourselves. So if we're willing to look at permitting and make that more efficient, as my friend Alan Armstrong from Williams likes to point out, it takes them longer to get a permit than it does to build the actual pipeline. That's a problem. If we're willing to address those things, we can meet this challenge.
Dan Brouillette, great stuff, Dan. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.